All right, so welcome everybody to the Q4 Wisconsin Tableau user group. We're really happy to have you with us today. We have a great agenda for you, so I'm going to go through that in just a second. But as you should note on the slide that you're seeing right now, use the chat to tell us where you're from and whether you're registered for the Tableau conference. Make sure at the bottom that you're sending your message to all panelists and attendees, because I think everyone wants to hear from you. Panelists too, but I'm sure all attendees would love to hear from you. And then you also want to find the Q&A window. We're actually going to use the Q&A as you ask questions of our panelists and our presenters. Use that Q&A window. Just makes it easier for us to keep track of the open questions. And we're actually going to pick winners from people who have asked questions throughout today's meeting, and the winners will win some Tableau swag. So definitely use the Q&A for that. Hopefully all that makes sense. So I'm going to talk real quick about our agenda for today. So we've kind of already into this first line item, which is our kickoff. And just in a moment, we're going to go through an audience profile or polling exercise. It's always fun to get to know you guys a little bit more. After that, we're going to have our first presentation of the day, which is about data science tool integration with Tableau. Super exciting. And then we're going to have a panel discussion with 3 individuals who have been to the Tableau conference and can speak to what you'll find there and how to make the most of your conference experience. And then we're just going to have a few wrap-up items at the end of today's meeting, where we're going to give away some swag. So again, make sure you're asking questions in the Q&A panel in order to be entered to win. So before I throw it over to the audience profile, I did just want to introduce myself. My name is Brandi Beals. I help to lead the Milwaukee Tableau user group and this Wisconsin Tableau user group. And my partner in crime is Patrick McCormick, who is actually going to be facilitating the audience profile for all of you. And he leads the Madison Tableau user group, or helps to lead the Madison Tableau user group. And again, we collaborate on this Wisconsin version. So the Wisconsin Tableau user group started last year around this time. I think this will be our 5th meeting ever. And it was really meant to, so first of all, it's always been virtual. So, pre-COVID, we were always virtual. But we wanted to kind of expand the reach of the Tableau user groups that we both ran, because we were finding a lot of people in just different areas of the state that didn't have their own user groups. And so this Wisconsin virtual Tableau user group was really meant to expand our family, our data fam. So I just wanted to introduce us and the group, but now we want to know a little bit more about you. So I'm going to throw it over to Patrick, but we're actually going to use a new tool today called Kahoot, but I'll let Patrick explain that to you.
Thanks, Brandi. Yeah, welcome everyone. I'm excited about Kahoot. It's a fun platform that maybe you've already used either in an educational setting, but Tableau's helping us with a Kahoot membership. So if you have Kahoot on your phone, fire it up. If you otherwise, just point your browser to kahoot.it, and I'll share my screen in a second here, and then you'll know the magic PIN number to enter our quiz. So Kahoot scores, we're going to actually quiz you today versus the profile that we've done in the past. So you really have to bring your A game. Kahoot scores you based not only on right answers, but how quickly you answer. We're going to start off with a couple questions about TC, and then we're going to raise the bar to some tougher data science questions that Amir provided. And Kahoot's going to identify 3 winners. So if you are one of the lucky winners, grab a screenshot of that and then email it to me. And we're going to give all 3 of the top winners $50 swag gift cards. All right, with that, let me share my screen and we'll get started. All right, are we good? All right, so yeah, fill in the PIN of 823962. And there we go. We're getting a bunch of people in, and we'll give you just a minute to get fired up. Looks like you're all bringing your A game today. Very nice. This is kind of like watching popcorn pop. All right. Once it looks like we're about ready to go. All right, let's go. First question for our Wisconsin Tug October 2nd meeting. Here we go. What year was Tableau conference in Washington, D.C.? As a hint, this is my son, Nolan, and he is currently 20 years old. And a lot of guesses for 2012. 2013 was the right answer. Each question you'll have 20 seconds to jump in with your answer. Nice job, Mitch. Kay and Kelsey. Which one of these things is not included in your TC20 pass? So this is a photo from when conference was in New Orleans for Mardi Gras at the Tableau community party one evening. And Tableau conference was always known for free food and lots of it. Lots of right answers there. Well done. Oh, Mitch is holding the top slot. Nice job. All right, now we're going to raise the bar with some data science questions. What is the most popular programming language for data science? So Amir is going to give us an overview of all the Tableau data science tool integrations today. And one of them is the most popular. Lots of right answers again. Smart crowd. Let's see if Mitch hangs on. Oh, I think we got a ringer. Samuel's coming on strong.
Isn't Mitch not attending the conference too?
Maybe he doesn't need to. What is the most popular machine learning algorithm? I always love this cartoon. Not everybody gets the same kick out of it. And the winner is linear regression. Looks like we got a lot of people knew that all the answers. Now for the winners. This is where you're going to want to grab a screenshot. Rob, well done. And Mitch for the win. Yeah, so grab a screenshot and please email that to me and we'll get a $50 swag certificate out to you. And I think it's back to you, Brandi.
Awesome, thank you so much. So that was a lot of fun. That was pretty exciting. I've never done like a Kahoot quiz before, so that was it was new and exciting. So thank you so much, Patrick, for putting that together. I really appreciate it. All right, let me just get situated here. Okay. So actually, Patrick, do you mind talking about our upcoming events?
Absolutely. So Brandi and I are going to regroup after conference and do some 2021 planning. So keep an eye out for that. We're we're going to have good things coming up in the new year. But yet this year, Milwaukee's got a session on October 15th about advancing your career with Tableau. Tableau's done a lot of good things for a lot of careers, as many of you know. And then on November 11th, the Madison user group is going to do an event on practical speed tipping. So you'll definitely want to tune in on that. And the beautiful thing about that is it's recorded, so you don't have to worry about taking notes. You can just listen in and pay attention. And if you can always go back to the YouTube to listen to it at the pace that's appropriate for you. And then speaking of YouTube, also keep in mind that all of the virtual tugs worldwide are available on the YouTube playlist that Tableau maintains. Next slide. All right, with that, I have the privilege to introduce our guest speaker, Amir Meimand from Tableau. As I mentioned earlier, he's going to give us an overview of the data science tool integrations that Tableau offers. So Amir's got all kinds of qualifications. He's a PhD, but most importantly, he's been to Madison. Take it away, Amir.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Let me first share my screen and then we can start. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Looks good.
Okay. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for attending this session. Thank you, Patrick, for nice introduction. As Patrick mentioned, my name is Amir Meimand. I'm a Principal Solution Engineer at the strategic team of Tableau. I'm very pleased and excited to present this topic here. The primary reason that I'm excited is that before joining Tableau, I used to be data scientist for several years, and I use Tableau on the daily basis, not only for the visualization, but for the modeling part, for model deployment part, and for all of the data science integration capability that Tableau has. One quick note, you probably noticed that my picture is different from like the current version that you are seeing from the video. And the reason is that I'm preparing myself for the Halloween. So this is my real face, the picture. And yeah, I was in Madison for a few months, I think in 2011, because my wife got an internship position in Google office at Wisconsin. So I was there for a few months. Fun fact about me, I'm a huge fan of The Office mockumentary series. I'm not sure how many people watch it, but it's a super funny series. I think initially casted by NBC channel. I've watched the whole series like 4 times. So I really like it. Okay, so let's get to Tableau. So for this session, I first provide a brief introduction about like the advanced analytic capability of Tableau from the high level and what is the philosophy of Tableau in offering such capability. And then after that, we will go through like some technical detail, how it works, what is the configuration behind the scenes. And then ultimately we go through some real life demo to see what sort of business problem the users and customers can solve with this integration, something beyond the visualization and simple calculation. So as you probably know, our mission in Tableau is to help people see and understand the data. This is why we get up every morning and what fuels us up. It's also a mission that back up our strategy and make us unique in this market. The keyword in our mission is the people, so empowering people, everyone in the organization, driving analytic for everyone, and working with all of your data, wherever your data is. And so from the analytic perspective, if you take a step back to consider the disruptive potential of artificial intelligence and machine learning, we believe there are 2 distinct and complementary opportunities in this area. The first opportunity is pretty much around automation. And this is the techniques and algorithm that are taking the human out of the loop and replacing them with a model or algorithm that is more accurate, more objective, and more efficient. So this is a big part of broader interest in artificial intelligence and machine learning. Basically, any task that you have to repeat on the regular basis, where the consideration into decision are known and well defined, is a great candidate for this part. The second opportunity is around augmentation, and which is enhancing the human's capacity to understand data to make a better decision with intelligent suggestion. So the ultimate goal here is not replacing human with machine and algorithm, but providing some intelligent suggestion coming from machine and algorithm by analyzing tons of data and augment the decision-making capability of human. Now, this second opportunity is the one that we at Tableau tend to focus on. And this stems from three main reasons. The first is the hardest decision in any business are the questions you only get to make few times. Those are made by humans. For example, while you can automate many processes, for example, you can automate the credit card pre-approval process, but the decision of whether or not this process need to automate it is the human-led decision. This is informed by the data as well as the business context of the real world. The second reason is around like the prediction based on like prior outcomes. So most of the predictive model works on the historical data, which may not be sufficient to make this decision. So at this point, the decision maker need to understand the underlying data generating this prediction and then make the ultimate decision if this prediction is valid or applicable or not. And most of all of this required human input at some point of the process. However, the data is growing significantly on the daily basis, while the human resources are not growing with it. So the augmentation is the opportunity that we need to empower this process. So across the Tableau, we have four major areas of investment where applying artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithm. Explain data, ask data, recommendation, and advanced analytic, from the business users all the way down to data scientists. And the main part of this session is focusing on the advanced analytic capability, which is designed mostly for data scientists. So saying about advanced analytic, our main philosophy at Tableau for providing the advanced analytic is democratizing advanced analytic and make it available to everyone in the organization across the user spectrum. We believe that data science has a very broad definition. So on one part of a spectrum, we have like business analysts who are not really modeling people. They are not someone that wants to build a model out of the data, but their main purpose is mostly about data exploration, but something beyond the visualization. You want to uncover underlying pattern of your data. You want to run some real-time statistical test to validate your hypothesis and get a deeper understanding from your data. Then the next group of users within this spectrum are business scientists or citizen data scientists. They are the people who has a very deep and rich business knowledge, but they don't have very strong analytical background. So they are looking for a tool that can help them to turn this business knowledge into actionable analytic. So they are looking for some guided or automated machine learning platform. And this is the part that we are accomplishing by integrating Tableau with Salesforce and Einstein Analytics. And the last part of this spectrum are really the data scientists who are working on very customized and specific business problems, which cannot be solved with out-of-the-box solution or automated machine learning. So this group of people need to build and design these models from the scratch. So the difficulty for these data scientists are not building the model because they are smart enough to build this model. But the main challenge is present this model and make these models available to everyone in the organization who do not necessarily have enough analytical background. So Tableau helped this user group to bring their own model. No matter how complicated this model is, no matter in which language or which platform you build this model, you can just bring your own model, plug it into the Tableau, and use Tableau as a very interactive interface to make your audience interact and communicate with this model. And within this presentation, I'm going to focus on the first and last user group, like the business analysts, how they can enrich their data exploration by using data science platform and integration, and also data scientists for someone that already built a model outside of Tableau, how you can bring your model in and make it available to everyone. So at a very high level, both of these goals can accomplished by Tableau capability and technology that we developed, and we call it Analytic Extension API. At a very high level, Analytic Extension API make you able to connect Tableau with any external analytical engine outside of Tableau. And this can be accomplished by an open source library that our development team developed and maintained, and the library is called TabPy. So it is an open source library for Python. As a result, you can install this open source library very similar to any open source library of Python. It is free. So as far as you have Tableau desktop or Tableau server, you should be able to use TabPy. So you can just install it by pipe command through your command line, pipe install TabPy, and then it will be installed on your local machine, which can be your laptop or your server. And then to use it, after install, you need to run it. Just TabPy, and then when you run TabPy, it will work pretty much like a listener. It starts listening to your Tableau server or Tableau desktop to see if you send any Python or programming language code for execution. And if you do, then TabPy will execute your code and then send back the result in the Tableau, so you can visualize this result or do any like other calculation at top of it. So in addition to installing TabPy and running TabPy on your local machine, you need to connect your workbook or server to the TabPy as well, because Tableau needs to know where this TabPy is located. So for the workbook, you can do it through the Manage Analytic Extension connection option and defining your server name. So in this case, I have TabPy installed on my local laptop, so my server is like localhost, and then Tableau know where it should send your Python code for the execution. And in the case of Tableau server, you can do it through the setting, extension, and enabling analytic extension, and identifying your host, which is basically your server name and port number. So very, very simple and easy 3-step setup and configuration. Before jumping into detail, a few quick notes about like the custom configuration. So from the IT perspective, you have a lot of options to configure the TabPy. So probably the most important one is about the authentication. TabPy support basic authentication, so you can define username and password account, so to limit the access to this server. But by default, there is no username and password. So if you have TabPy on the server, everyone can have access to it. TabPy by default serve only HTTP requests, but you can configure it to serve the HTTPS. And more importantly, for data management, to make sure that not just one single user overkill the server by sending a lot of requests and a lot of data, you can define some cap in the term of like maximum request size that's sent to TabPy, or limited the time of like running time. For example, the default is 30 seconds. So if a job running time is more than 30 seconds, TabPy automatically kill it. But you can just increase or decrease this configuration part. Okay. Now let's look at some of the detail to see how it works. So to the basic topology with Tableau Desktop, Tableau Server, or Tableau Prep Builder, we can configure a connection to Analytic Extension API like TabPy, and the Python pass data out and return back in the result in the desktop and server. And it worked through the script calculation. And we have 4 different script calculation: a script Boolean, a script integer, a script real, and a script string. And these are basically describing to Tableau what to expect in the term of return data. So by using this script function, you can technically run any Python code directly with your Tableau workbook. Now let's see how it works in the real world. Here I have my my Tableau workbook, and the first step is running the TabPy. So I can show you here how I can run it. So I already installed TabPy on my laptop, so I can just run TabPy by typing TabPy, and now TabPy is up and running. Now I can connect my Tableau workbook to it through the help, manage analytic extension connection, and defining the server and port number. Test connection is built, so now I can use this integration directly in Tableau. So let's first go through the business problem and see how we can use Python to solve this problem. This is the data of one of our customer in Brazil. And they were running a marketing campaign all around the Brazil in different states. And after they observed that after running this campaign, the average sales at the customer level increase in most of the states. So here each dot represent a customer and the x-axis represent the average sale. So you can see that for most of the states, the average sale after running the market campaign increase. But the business question is if this increase in the market, in the customer spend is truly the result of marketing campaign, or it is just a random shift in the market. This is a very popular analytic problem in the marketing area, and it can be solved by running some A/B testing. Basically, you can run a t-test over these two sets of data to see if the difference between the average of these two populations is statistically significant or not. Obviously, Tableau by itself does not have this capability, but the good news is that you can use the Python integration with Tableau and get the desirable result. Let's see how does it work at the back end. So this can work as easy as building a calculation field in Tableau. I already built a calculation field. I call it like t-test in Tableau. And so I used a script real function because the ultimate result of t-test is a real number. It is a p-value. And then within this function, you can write your Python code. So basically, any Python code that you can run in your Jupyter notebook or any other environment, you can just write the same code here and then get the same result. The main power of this integration is that you can feed your code with the dynamic data coming from the visualization. For example, in this specific use case, I'm running, to run the t-test, I need two variables or two arguments. The first argument is basically my target variable. So the first argument is defined by arg1, and it refers to the first element that I have after the script real. So my target variable is the average sales based on whatever I have in
Amir,
the visualization. Yes.
your audio is cutting out a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, sounds good
Oh,
now. Maybe it's
right,
just
sorry.
me.
Okay. So as I said, this code required like different input. In this specific case, arg1 refer to my target variable, which is specified by the first element, average sales, whatever you have in the visualization, and second argument, identify your two groups. So we have this code here. Now I can add it to my visualization very easy because it is a calculation field. So I can just drag it to my visualization as a p-value and see the result. As I said, the main power here is that you can, as soon as you change the data in the V's, your code will be rerun and give you the new result. For example, if I pick another state, you will see the result of p-value change, and I can get the new result. Since it is a calculation field, you can use it as a color or size to build a better visualization. For example, here, I don't want to click on each state by state to see which one is successful, which one was not. So I can use add this value as a color to my map. And then I can immediately see that, well, for most of these states with green color, the marketing campaign was successful, but I have a few states in the west part and in the east part for which the marketing campaign was not successful. So this is sort of capability that you can get by the Python integration. Now let's look at a little bit more complicated problem with the same data set. This customer also was wondering if there is any specific trend in the market. So to do that, we actually can look at the market trend over time. If I pick any state, I can see that, for example, for this state, the market trend has like some form of increasing form over time, while for some other states like this one, the market trend is decreasing, and each state has its own trend. So we are wondering if we can cluster these states together based on the consistency and similarity of the market trend, and ultimately compare this with or marketing campaign analysis. So this is a bit more complicated problem, but as I said, again, we can do it easily with Python. So this requires some clustering, but before clustering, since we are dealing with like time series data, we need to run some sort of like a dimension reduction technique and then run the clustering at top of it. So again, I define another calculation field here, which I call it like PCA. And then here I have a fairly complicated Python code because it first reads the data from visualization, changing the structure of the data, and then doing some scaling, reducing the size of problem, and ultimately running some clustering algorithm and return back the result. So no matter how complicated your Python code is, you can just use it in the calculation field in Tableau and then fed it with the data from the visualization. Now we can add this clustering to the visualization to see which states has a similar marketing trend. Well, we can see that these red states are the one that has similar marketing trend, and if I click on them one by one, we can see that they are the one that has like mostly increasing marketing trend, while for example these blue ones are the one with sort of decreasing trend with some peak, and these ones are the one with like significant and sharp decreasing trend. Now I can combine this analysis with the previous analysis and do some comparison, and the immediate observation that we can get from this side-by-side comparison is that most of the states for which my marketing campaign were not very successful, like including the west part and the east part, are the one that the marketing trend has some sort of like decreasing trend. So maybe that's the primary reason that my marketing campaign was not successful, because by default, this state has some sort of decreasing trend. So this is sort of ad hoc analysis that you can do directly in Tableau by this integration capability. And another powerful thing about this capability is that you need to build this workbook just one time, and then you can share it through the server with your cohort and colleague, and they don't need to write this code or write these models again, because they can just use the same calculation field with a different data source or with like updated data and go through the same analysis. Okay, and the last example that I have is about the time series. One of the popular application of data science in Tableau is about time series, in which you have like data over time and you want to run some forecasting over time. In this specific example, I have like the sales data of one specific product category over multiple years, and I want to get the forecasting for, let's say, the next 35 months. There are a lot of like forecasting model available, and in Python, in Tableau, you have the option of like using all of or some of this forecasting model to see which one works better for your data. So very similar to the previous examples, here I built calculation field using a stat models library of Python, reading the data, and then return back the result of forecasting. The important point here is that you can control your Python code through the dynamic parameters. For example, one of the argument for my code here is for how long I want to run this forecasting. And instead of having a hard number, I can just make it as dynamic parameters and dynamically change this. So for example, here, I'm going to get the forecasting for the next 35 months. Well, you may want to get the forecasting for the longer duration. So you can just dynamically change these parameters, and then your code will rerun automatically, and then you get the new forecasting for more months. And also, if you want to get forecasting for different product category, you don't need to rewrite your code. You can just change the data in the visualization by applying different filter. For example, let's say department store, and then your code will read the updated data, rerun it, and return back the new result of forecasting. Okay, so the first part that I present was about how you can enrich your data exploration capability for data analysts and business analysts to run some real-time statistical tests along with some intuitive visualization. However, there are situations in which, as I said, you already have a machine learning model outside of Tableau, and it is already trained, it is already built, so you don't need to feed this model with updated data because this model is ready to go. So you just need a platform to deploy this model and then make it available to everyone in your organization. And this is one of the main obstacle for data scientists, lack of having like a deployment platform and having a user-friendly interface for their audience. So let me go through the second example. So the second example is from a banking industry, in which they built a neural net model, which analyzed each customer profile, including the credit score, the current product they are using, the income, and so many other. And then it will provide the recommendation. What is the next product that this customer might be interested in? And then what is the probability that this customer accept this offer if we offer him or her this product? So for example, if I pick like Mr. Luke Franklin, it seems that Mr. Luke Franklin, based on the credit score, based on the current product he's using and the income level, it seems that he's pretty much interested in money market account. And if today I offer money market account to Mr. Franklin, he will accept this product with like 41% chance. Now let's see how does it work at the back end. So as I said, this is a model that is already built outside of Tableau. You can use TabPy to deploy this model. By deploying, I mean that you can save this model directly in TabPy, and then in your calculation field, you can just use TabPy query to call this model in the real time. I already deployed this model under the name of marketing prediction. So I can call this model in the real time. This model required 6 different arguments, which is basically the customer attribute and my marketing strategy. And then it will return 2 value: what product this customer is interested in and what is the probability of accepting it. Now, this is what you get in the real time by connecting your data to the data source and get the real time like recommendation and prediction. More importantly, you can try different scenario. Instead of feeding your model based off the data from the visualization, you can change the dynamic parameters to go through some what if analysis. For example, if my default strategy is approaching Mr. Franklin with a text message and motivate him by offering some coupon. What if I offer Mr. Franklin some cash back? Well, it seems that the chance of responding positive increased to 75%. What if I offer him some bundle discounts? Well, the chance is 54%. So this is probably the strategy that I should go. And the primary reason is that Tableau can call your model on the real time, so you can play around with the parameters of your model to see which one provide you the desirable output. Okay, so in sum, we can use this integration not only for data exploration and running some real-time statistical tests, but also we can use this integration to bring in the already built-in model outside of Tableau, and using Tableau to build a very user-friendly and interactive interface. And having such a capability demystifies some of the obstacles in adopting machine learning and artificial intelligence culture, because your non-technical people feel very comfortable to interact with this sort of complicated model. Okay, let me go back to my presentation and go through one more quick thing. So although the Analytic Extension API was originally designed for Python integration, we recently expanded this capability and make it more generalizable. Today we are going more than just Python integration, and we have the capability of integrating with almost any external analytical engine. And basically it makes it possible to extend Tableau calculation field, which can communicate with almost any analytical engine by receiving data from Tableau and return it back in the real time. And this new capability opened the door for Tableau integration with many different machine learning and data science platforms, such as Salesforce Analytics, DataRobot, Opal, RapidMinder, and more importantly, at this point, it doesn't matter which programming language you want to write your code. It is not just Python and R. You can write your code in like C++, Java, Perl, any programming language that you want, and you leverage this Analytic Extension API to bring your code and then run it in the real time and get the real-time result. Patrick, I lost keeping track of time. How much more time do I have?
You've got about 10 minutes.
Okay, so all right. I think if 10 minutes, we can just leave it for a question and answer. This was pretty much the last slide.
Okay. Wonderful. So we do have a few questions. One is, are you willing to share your slides?
Yeah, of course, sure.
Awesome. Next one is, can we use TabPy for workbooks published to Tableau Public?
No, you cannot. It's TabPy currently just work on either server or Tableau desktop.
Very good. And last question is, using Tableau parameters to control Python or R function values is really cool. Is there a practical limit to how many parameters you can integrate before lag becomes extreme?
There is no limit. It just depends on the way that you are writing your code. Basically, the running time of your code, Tableau doesn't increase the running time of your code. So if you can run this code in Jupyter Notebook or any other development environment, you should be able to run it in the same time in Tableau. So it doesn't matter.
So is there a causation with the number of parameters and runtime?
No, it does not.
Okay. All right, we're getting a couple more in here. If I want to integrate with R scripture, what analytics extension should I use?
Yeah, for R, it is very similar to TabPy, but in the analytic extension connection, instead of picking TabPy external API, you should just pick rserv and then specify your server and port number.
Okay. Amir, have you encountered data scientists who are reticent to embrace Tableau or this type of approach to data visualization? If so, could you speak to that a little bit?
I didn't fully understand the question. Is it about like the application of like the real world application of this integration?
I'm guessing the spirit of the question is if the data scientists are more oriented toward open source tools like D3 or something like that, if they are open to embracing a commercial data visualization tool like Tableau.
Yeah, actually, this is mostly related to the organization for which you want to make your model available. So of course, there are like a bunch of open source library for the visualization, but the main power of Tableau is that, first of all, it make this visualization very easy for you. So the data scientists can spend their time just on modeling and no writing code or building anything for the visualization. So it depends on the user, but for the data scientists who want to emphasize more on modeling rather than just building the user interface, Tableau is the best choice. And a study shows that building a user-friendly interface for machine learning take like 5 or 6 times more than building the model by itself. So I would say most of the organizations are more toward some commercial tool like Tableau that make it easy to build this visualization and interactive environment in almost no time, rather than data scientists spend their time building the interface.
Thank you. Brandi, did you have any additional clarification to that one?
I was actually just going to add that, you know, when I use Tableau kind of within my data science space, I mean, I use it a lot for that exploratory data analysis. But then also, I think the thing that Amir showed, which is the use of parameters, you know, that interactivity, if you want, as a data scientist, if you want to make that interaction with, you know, a data science like programming language available to end users, you know, you would have to use like is it Shiny for R or some other application built on top of Python in order to actually get that user interface. So Tableau, to Amir's point, makes that really easy, I think, when you're presenting like a data science model to end users. So
yeah. Yeah, I just got one question about like, are we trying to advertise Tableau as data science, machine learning tools and competing with other tools. I just want to make it clear that we are not competing with like the data science tool that available in the market. We are trying to be complementary to all of these data science platforms. So as I mentioned, there are like bunch of data science platform available in the market, Opal, RapidMiner, like Alteryx, and many of them. The Tableau is trying to be complementary for data scientists. Tableau does not require data scientists to build their model in any specific language or any specific platform. So you can, as a data scientist, you can build your model outside of Tableau in any environment that you feel comfortable, and then you use Tableau to bring it in to your organization. So it is mostly for democratizing the machine learning and AI culture rather than just a modeling tool.
Very good. What version of Tableau do you need to have in place for these various features that you demonstrated?
Well, TabPy is pretty much compatible with most of the Tableau version from like 2019 and even 18. But here I'm using the latest version of Tableau 20.3, but it should be compatible with the older version as well.
And what about the analytics API?
The same, it is similar.
Okay. If not using Tableau for visualization of a model, what are data scientists using?
Tableau for visualization of a model. So it is either for visualizing the model or for data exploration. Data exploration is the primary part of data scientists because this is like one step before data modeling, and it helps data scientists to understand the structure of data, testing variety of hypotheses, and then come up with the suggestion of for the modeling step. So the data exploration is important because it will give data scientists a clue about like the modeling part. And it is mostly based on like ad hoc analysis. So Tableau make data scientists able to go through this analysis in the real time by having both visualization and statistical tests in one environment.
Very good. One more. In the extensible API, is the processing of the model taking place in Tableau or another system? Is Tableau only consuming and visualizing the result of the API call?
The processing of model taking place in the machine in which you install your TabPy. Like for example, if you have your TabPy in your local laptop, then the model will be run and processed in your laptop, and Tableau just receive the result back and then use it for the visualization or other calculations. So Tableau by itself does not process or run your model.
So for example, you could have R running on a different server and call it from your Tableau server?
Yes, we can have your R or Python in different server and your Tableau in another server. But when you're configuring the TabPy, you need to specify the server name for your R or TabPy.
Right. Very good. Another one. Are
Yep.
there any hurdles for real-time predictive modeling based on the external language that you decide to use?
For the real-time predictive, the external language doesn't matter, but the size of data that you send does matter. For example, if you want to get like the real-time prediction for like 1 million rows, then it takes a lot of time versus you just want to get the real-time prediction for like 10 rows or 100 rows, but the external language doesn't matter. The way that you write your code does matter because some programming language or external language are more like efficient versus the other one. But for Tableau, it doesn't matter. It just execute the code that you provide to it.
Perfect. Are there other online resources that you would recommend for people to learn more about this topic?
Yes, absolutely. So if you are looking for a more example, I would suggest like this website, which is like, or a TabPy GitHub. So this is the website from which you can learn more about the TabPy installation, instruction, and also you can find a lot of examples here, like simple examples, how we can run TabPy. And there is also a Tableau blog post for data scientists in which you can find like more detail and technical tips and example about like the TabPy deploying functions, running them on different like server and so on. So I would suggest like the TabPy GitHub and Tableau data science blog post.
Perfect. Would you drop those URLs in the chat?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Amir. That was very informative and a
Sure.
lot of powerful things going on there.
Yeah, thank you.
Back to you, Brandi.
Thank you. All right. So, fantastic presentation. And hopefully it gets y'all a little excited about ways that you can leverage R or Python right within Tableau and provide, I think the thing that that excites me is providing that user interface to people who maybe aren't familiar with data science, machine learning, or how to code. Tableau provides a very comfortable interface that they're probably familiar with. So super exciting. We are actually going to move on to the next item on our agenda, and like we're right on time, which like never happens. So just a little moment of excitement there. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is the Tableau conference. The Tableau conference that's coming up. And we have with us today a fantastic group of people who have been to the conference before. Obviously, this year is much different. Tableau's conference is virtual this year, but it still has a lot of the same content. And so the people that we've compiled today will help hopefully answer some questions that you may have about what to look for, how to make the most of your conference experience, even when we're virtual. So I'm going to turn it over to each of them. Tammy, we're going to start with you. If you don't mind just taking a few seconds to introduce yourself, and then we'll go to Marcell and then Nicole.
Sure. I'm Tammy Brown. I laugh, the data wrangler and visualization wizard is the tagline on my LinkedIn profile that I had a outplacement specialist help me write. So that's kind of funny. I get a lot of giggles from that. But I'm a data analyst at TDS Telecom in Madison. I started there in March of 2018 after being downsized from a job that I had for about 26 and a half years. So when I started at TDS, I had never used Tableau prior to that. So it was a little bit overwhelming at first, but I found it a really easy tool to use, and it's probably one of my favorite tools in my toolbox. So in July, which was 4 months or so after I started, my manager told me that he was sending me to Tableau conference, and I was to sign up for the Desktop Associate Certification exam. And of course, I was expected to pass. So cue the panic. But I absorbed everything I could about Tableau over the next few months, and I successfully passed the exam. So I love using Tableau. Probably the tools that I use most often are Tableau and Alteryx, and I love them both.
Awesome, thanks. Marcell, over to you.
All righty. Hey, everybody. Hey, data family. Marcell Jackson. I am a project engineer at GE Healthcare here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is industrial Internet of Things. We just call it Brilliant Factory here. I have a similar story to Tammy. I started, took over this role, and 4 months later, I was at a Tableau conference, kind of trial by fire. Expected to go and put up plenty dashboards for our manufacturing operations. I was not required to get a certification, but yeah, excited to be here. I've been to 2 Tableau conferences so far. So, righty.
Awesome, thanks. Nicole.
Hi, I'm Nicole Kraft. I work as a research analyst at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, and I've been using Tableau since version 7, since 2012. This will be my 8th or 9th conference, so I'm excited. I'm not sure what this year is going to look like, but I've never been disappointed in the past, that's for sure. I use Tableau in my job. Probably 95% of my job, my day is spent in Tableau. I make visualizations for anything and everything you can think of. We report to the provost and the chancellor with data for decision making. We do stuff for departments, we do stuff for students, and we also do stuff for public facing, for parents to come and look at data. I even put together a COVID dashboard, which I was extremely scared of, but we did do a COVID dashboard now for our campus as well. So yeah, I don't know, I love it. I've been using it for a long time, and it was the first time I've ever used a tool like this. I didn't even know what it was, what a visualization tool was. When I got hired at Eau Claire, I was in a new field, in a new job, and I had no idea what I was doing. And my first thing was to buy a product, and I chose Tableau. So that was probably one of the better decisions I got to make.
That's fantastic. What a great story. And so I think, you know, obviously we can kind of just see from our panelists that we have a wide range of experiences and, you know, wow, Nicole, 8 conferences, like that's got to be some sort of record. So,
and just to say, that's also where I met Pat McCormick, and I saw Sarah Nels on the call too. So met great people from the very beginning. So
yeah, that's really cool. Well, great. Let's dive into some questions. I have a few questions for each of you, but for all of our participants, you know, if you have questions of your own, again, please put those into the Q&A panel and we'll get to them if time allows. And don't forget, right, any question that gets asked, you're going to be entered to win some Tableau swag. So, so definitely throw your questions out there. But Tammy, the first question I'm going to ask of you, what were some of your favorite keynotes or biggest takeaways from past conferences?
So yeah, my biggest takeaway, I think it was at TC 19, so I think it was last year's, was the importance of creating a data-centric culture. So what's important to know is that analytics are only as valuable as the folks within an organization. So if you have conflicting data, or if you have dashboards that have the same data set and they're not giving the same, you know, they're not giving results, people aren't believe the data, and it's top down that everybody believe the data to be true, and it must be end-to-end data collection and storage, and flowing through to data prep, and ultimately surfacing in the visualizations that reach the business devices. So they had 3 attributes that summed up Tableau data culture: commitment, talent, sharing, and mindset. So back at the office, March, I actually have a sign hanging on my whiteboard that has those 5 things. Trust the data, make sure your organization is committed to the data, have the right talent demonstrating the data, visualizations or other reports, share the data, don't keep it, and have the mindset that data culture is the most important thing.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I'm sure that we'll see data culture showing up again at this Tableau conference. So knowing that that was impactful for you, if folks are in a similar position, definitely check out those data culture sessions. So Marcell, my second question is to you. I'm curious what some of your favorite events or activities were at past conferences.
Alrighty, I would say my favorite event was developers on stage. So pretty much, I say Tableau does a great job of making data interesting. You know, we're staring at numbers, algorithms, and everything else, code all day. But what they were able to do is got a sneak peek of what's to come in the next Tableau release. That's what all of the conference attendees be able to see beforehand. So just seeing people, like a room full of people excited about new features, new opportunities, and actually knowing that Tableau takes the time to take our feedback, like what we want to see differently in the tool. So just like the whole night of that was pretty exciting. And I would say the second most fun activity is just data night out. So after a couple of days of spending with different attendees, getting to know people and everything else, data night out just is a kind of day that just culminates at the end. I know we won't be able to do that too much here virtually, but being able to just go and talk to people just offline outside of the conference scene. It's a lot of people that I connected with there via LinkedIn, and I'm still connected to now. So, yep.
Yeah, that's a great answer. And I do believe that they're still doing that like devs on stage type of event this year. It's not called that though. When I looked at the sessions, it's called something else, but
Okay.
it's like devs at desk, I think it is. So
Oh, devs at desk. Okay, got you.
But to your point, right? Yeah, having that feedback and like that room full of excitement is definitely it's really fun. And yeah, I'm not really sure what they're going to do to try and replace data night out, but I know that there's like a cool photo booth and just, they're certainly doing their best to connect folks. So, but at least we'll get part of that same experience. So thank you. Nicole, next question is for you. Do you have any tips on getting the most out of the various breakout sessions that there are?
I think the first thing you need to do when you're getting ready for Tableau is to kind of figure out what are you trying to get out of the conference, first of all. They have sessions that are just breakout speakers. They've got, things by industry. They've got the hands-on sessions, things you can do. I think every year I've gone to the conference with a different mindset. Because last year was like the first time it didn't really matter what I did. I didn't want to focus on just hands-on classes, or I didn't want to focus on just this. I just kind of took whatever looked fun to me, which I haven't really done a lot of in the past. So that was interesting. And when you're doing your research, you can go through and look at this year's setup online is a little bit different. Typically, there's an app you can go through and you can schedule your time. But know your skill level. If you're in the beginner, intermediate, Jedi, and then look for the things that you think will fit what you're looking to learn. Are there meetups for your industry? So there's a higher ed meetup that I try to attend every year. There's different fields have those types of things. Are there people that you're following, like on LinkedIn or blogs that you read or things that you see on the Tableau website? Are they presenting, right? I've seen two people, like the first year that I went, and I every time I go to conference, I look for them and see if they're speaking, because I want to see what they've got to say, whether it's something that's actually a topic that interests me, but usually it's a good, good speaker. Build out your schedule, and then always have a backup, right? So in the past, Tableau's done a really great job now where you actually can sign up ahead of time and you actually reserve your space in a room. So that makes it a little bit easier to get the sessions that you want to see. But if you get into a session and it's either way too simple or way too advanced for you, or it's just not what you thought it was going to be, I say get up and move out of the room. Same thing here. I would leave and join another room, because you don't want to waste your time, and it's not going to hurt anybody's feelings. They just get you in the wrong spot. Move. And be flexible. I don't know how this is going to work for this year, but in the past, like I have sat down for breakfast at a table knowing nobody and literally spent like the next 2 hours just talking to people and skip, a session, right? So just be flexible. And if there's something like that comes across, take advantage of it. And so, that's basically it for that. But when you're done, what I try to do is I schedule like 2 hours on my calendar per week, just to go through and watch the recorded sessions, right? Because you can't, in the 3 days that you've got, you can't watch everything, you can't catch everything you want. And 9 times out of 10, you have 2 sessions that are like on top of each other that you couldn't do anyway, right? So I try to do that and get caught up and do the things that I, wasn't able to get to. And they have it, on the conference website, they're available, and they're also on YouTube. So that's like a bonus perk that you can actually watch everything after the fact. So.
Yeah, really great advice there. I was just going to say that, I think this question came up, I think on like one of my Slack workspaces I'm a part of, but if I'm correct, I think to Nicole's point, all the breakout sessions are recorded, but the keynotes are not. Mm-hmm. So if you want to, make sure that you're catching those keynotes, you'll want to do that live. But great, fantastic answer. So Tammy, another question for you. Did you take advantage of any of the Tableau Doctor sessions that were available?
Tammy, you're muted.
I think you might be on mute.
Okay, I tried to call in from my phone. Can everybody hear me better now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about the audio quality on the last time that I spoke. I'm sorry about that. I did work with Tableau Doctor. So it was at last year's conference. I had been working on a dashboard at work for quite a long time. We were trying to build a chart that had a difference from calculation in it. So it was a bar chart of trending data, of 24 months of trending data. And if you clicked on the bars, you could see the difference from one period to the next. So the bars represented months. So January through December for the last 24 months. And if you clicked on the bars, it would pop a chart down below that showed a text view of the difference from one period to the next. The dimensions in that chart were, I'm going to talk a little bit generically so I don't give away proprietary data, but if you think of country, state, and city, so we had those grouped as a hierarchy. And what I wanted the chart to do was to show the difference from one period to the next and to sort it by the most recent period. So if we're looking at from October to November to December, I wanted the chart to sort by the difference from December to November through all of the different time periods. And what was happening with all of the different formulas that we used was it was fine if you were only looking at one time period. So if you were comparing last month to the month before, the chart would sort fabulously. But if you added in a third time period, you would get multiple rows because it would look at the difference from last month to the month before, and then the 2 months before to the month before, it would create a separate line. So it was getting all wonky and wasn't doing at all what I wanted it to do. And I had several people try to help me with it, and we couldn't come up with a solution. So I scheduled an appointment with a Tableau Doctor. I had a 45-minute appointment because I thought it was probably going to take that long. And I was able to explain to her what I was trying to do. I actually took Superstore data and I replicated my issue with Superstore data so that I wasn't sharing any proprietary data. And she, within 20 minutes, was able to write a formula that I'm not even sure at this point if I could tell you what that formula does. But I didn't care because she wrote the formula and it worked, and I was able to implement that in my actual dashboard. And then as I'm walking away from the Tableau Doctor appointment, I sent a text to my manager and said, I got it, it works. So we were really thrilled about that, and I never would have been able to get to the formula that she came up with for me on my own. So I was really glad that I enlisted the help of Tableau Doctor to do that.
That's awesome. And so Tableau Doctor is one of those things that is still going to be available at the virtual conference. So, so if anybody is interested in that, you should definitely book an appointment. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Tammy, they fill up kind of fast, right?
They do. So as soon as they opened registration, so this conference was in November last year. And when registrations for all the sessions opened up, I think in September, I had already known that this was an issue. And I had actually brought it to a couple of folks at the Madison Tug meetings and said, can you guys help me? And so I knew that it was going to still be an issue. I wasn't going to get it figured out by November. So that was the very first thing I did, was book a Tableau Doctor session before I started booking myself into any of the other sessions. They fill up really fast.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you very much for the insight. Marcell, the next question is for you. Do you have any advice on how to stay focused in virtual meetings? I know I have a tendency, with virtual stuff to oh, over here on my other screen, I have work emails coming in, and I'm just curious if you have advice for us.
Yeah, I would definitely say just try to stay present. It might help just looking up who the speaker is or a little bit more about the content beforehand. So when they're going and they're talking about things, you already have a good idea and you're looking forward to the next thing. I would say I'm not sure if the breakout rooms will be, I'm not sure what platform they're using, but if there is a chat feature, be sure to go ahead, stay engaged, maybe say some of your key takeaways in the chat, or maybe they said something that really resonated with you, or hey, they're saying something, a problem that you already been looking at or you're looking to solve. Do that. Feel free to connect with other people in the chat just to kind of keep yourself there and focused. If you have a standing desk, I have like a desk elevator. So I'll have that there, because if you're moving around, that's pretty good as well. So I'll say, yeah, just try your best to do that. Just be focused and be engaged. If you speak with people, if you speak with presenters during during the sessions, people will interact as well. I know it was up to 100 some people here on this call. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really good advice. So close Outlook, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. Yeah, well, that's really, really good to hear. I think because I don't know, Patrick, maybe you can answer this. Do you know whether Tableau is going to have like a chat feature as part of the Tableau conference?
I don't know for a fact.
It's potential, but maybe not. One of the things we may, as like a Wisconsin Tableau user group, try to provide that space if Tableau doesn't. So keep an eye out for that. But that's a really good tip, Marcell. And I feel like that's kind of like what we're doing here with the chat feature today, right? Like people are a lot more engaged because they're asking questions and they're posting comments and links and things in the chat window. So cool. Great advice.
Speaking of that, Brandi, is this the time to mention the Slack workspace?
I actually have that as a follow-up to our panel right after we finish. So.
Perfect.
Nicole, question to you, and then we're going to open it up to questions from all of our participants. So get your questions in. But Nicole, I guess, what were some of your favorite breakout sessions? Oh, you're on mute.
All right, am I back? Okay, so I've got a couple that really kind of resonated with me. So I think, I don't know how many years in a row that I went to sessions, hands-on sessions on how to use parameters. My German Shepherd is saying hello, by the way. So I went to multiple sessions, and then, it was really difficult for me to find a way to correlate semesterly education data to sales data, like daily sales data. I had a really hard time getting that to work out in my head. So the hands-on sessions that I attended for parameters were excellent. I wanted to learn how to use actions and sets. There was an actions session I did, and then there's let's talk about sets, and that's SETS, which was very funny, and it was a really good comments. And a lot of these are done over and over again. They're revamped a little bit the next year, but they're about the same. And then Jedi Calcs. Any session on that, I usually could try to go in and see if there's something else I can learn from that. If there are sessions done by the Tableau Zen Masters, there's certain people, again, that I would follow, like Steve Wexler does a great survey data sessions, just things like that. And then finally, I think my favorite thing of all time, which I just randomly, I think I walked in on one time because I went to the wrong session, but I don't remember what it was originally called, like 45 tips in 45 minutes or something like that. And that was 60, and it was like 87. And I saw that you have the speed tipping is going to be on the next session. I think it's probably going to be very similar to that, where it's just rapid fire. They're like showing you one after one after another tips on how to do something in Tableau. And you're like, I already know this stuff. And you sit down like, oh my God, I didn't even do that. And it was like, just took them seconds to figure something out. So just seeing somebody else, how they work in Tableau is also pretty fun.
Yeah, that's a great one. And they do have that session this year. I think they're also calling it like speed tipping or something in this year's session.
2-minute Tableau speed tipping, I think, is what I found for this year.
Okay, yeah. And I feel like what's great about that is it's good for all levels. You know what I mean? Like, even if you've been using Tableau for like 8 years, you're still going to learn little things that are going to just make you a little bit better, that are going to save you just enough time every day to like add up to an extra coffee break or something, you know. That's really what it's all about, coffee breaks. Okay, so we have a few more minutes left of our panel discussion, so I'm going to take a few questions from our Q&A panel and direct them to you guys. Anyone, feel free to answer them, okay? So Tableau conference this year coincides with my company's year-end closing process, which I'm heavily involved in. Since my time will be limited, what are the must-attend parts of TC? Anybody want to answer that? Marcell, how about I pick on you? You're muted, but I'd love to hear your response.
Yeah, I would say, since you said the breakout sessions are recorded, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so I would say the must-see would be any of the live features that's there. I would echo again, the devs at desk is there. Yeah, so that would be mine, since you're still able to get the content from the breakout sessions. So
yeah.
Yep.
So Brandi, does anybody know with what happened with Chrissy Teigen and John Legend earlier this week with Chrissy losing her baby? Does anybody know if John Legend is still going to be a keynote speaker or a guest speaker?
I haven't heard.
I haven't heard that he's not. But those celebrity keynotes are always like, I don't know, you always think, well, I don't know, what can I, what are they going to be able to share with data people? But I always never miss those, because they're always enlightening. They're a nice mental break from the breakout sessions and everything that you're trying to absorb. And I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is the other one, right? So we have John Legend and Neil deGrasse Tyson. In my opinion, I think those are always, don't miss those, because you really do walk away with you walk away being enlightened, let's put it that way. So, but those will probably be recorded, so you can always watch them later. So probably some of the data stuff is a little bit more important, but I always enjoy the celebrity the celebrity keynotes that they bring in.
Yeah, absolutely. And that actually brings up, I mean, you mentioned Neil deGrasse Tyson, so he's a keynote speaker. And then I saw that Nate Silver, who runs 538, which I think is part of used to be part of ESPN, is now part of New York Times, whatever. Anyway, he's also has a session. It's not like highly promoted, but he has a session as well. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, as much as I think you can fall back on the fact that sessions are recorded, I never go back and watch them. So
right.
I'm clearly don't even have time to be fully engaged in in a virtual conference. So
yeah.
I would just say,
yeah, I still have bookmarks to TC18 sessions that I've never gone back to watch.
Yeah. So all right, next question. Do you so this question, it says Brandi, but really I think anybody could answer it. But do you have any favorite resources for implementing the data culture in an organization?
So I'll take that one since I brought it up. I don't have them at my fingertips right now, but when that just was a really big theme in TC19, and I wanted to try to implement more of a data culture at my organization, I just Googled data culture in an organization, and a lot of really, really good blogs came up. And in fact, there were a couple that were like a step-by-step blueprint for how to institute a data culture at your organization. And I'm sorry that I don't have those at my fingertips right now, but just doing a Google search, I found a lot of resources.
Yeah, that actually, I feel like used a key word there, because Tableau recently at the last conference came out with something they're calling Tableau Blueprint, which is meant to do exactly what you're talking about. It's meant to kind of have this data culture overview, and then there's different swim lanes, right? You need executive support, you need data preparation and data access, and you need data visualization and data literacy, and you need governance and like all of these components. And so I'll actually post this link in the chat window about how you can like take your, it's like a self-assessment, and then they'll give you like, here's maybe where the areas where you need to like spend some time. So that would be something that just came to mind because of what you said, Tammy. So thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. I guess the only other thing I'll say about data culture, some of my favorite resources. Tom Davenport is an author. He's written books called Analytics at Work, Keeping Up with the Quants, and others. And you know, it's tool agnostic, so it doesn't specifically call out Tableau, but just generally it kind of he talks about building an analytical culture and moving up that analytical maturity curve and all of that fun stuff. So I would definitely check that out too. Next question though is, we are starting an initiative to get our org on board with Tableau and getting them to let go of their Excel spreadsheets. What's the top thing we should do to make this happen? And will there be sessions in this regard at the conference? Does anyone have advice on converting Excel users to Tableau?
I don't know. I would say, you know, is there a spreadsheet that, you know, a certain report that is put out that is like, you know, the report that you have to work on or look at on a regular basis, and build it in Tableau and see what you can show them differently than we would see like in a table, right? That would be my suggestion.
Yep. So I can echo that. So I had a project that I was working on most of last year, which was taking, so we had 5 different markets. So I work for TDS Telecom, which is a data, TV, internet, and phone company, right? And so we have those 3 different services across lots of markets. And we had 5 markets that one team was tracking with subscriptions and disconnects and installations and so on and so forth. And they had 15 different spreadsheets, one for each revenue generating unit, whether it be high-speed data, TV or phone, and then for each of those 3 services, the 5 different markets, right? So they had 15 different Excel spreadsheets that were being updated on a daily basis. And I worked on a project to take those spreadsheets and that manual work and to create an ETL process that the data would come into, I'd be able to create an Alteryx workflow that would then create a Tableau data extract. And we now have a Tableau dashboard that refreshes every morning at 6:30 in the morning with the activity from the day before. And what they were interested in is month to date and month to date comparisons for this month to last month to the month before and to a year ago this month. So they were maintaining 15 different spreadsheets every single day to keep that data up to date. And I have a Tableau dashboard that just does it for them. So instead of adding all of their data to these 15 spreadsheets, they just can go to the dashboard and look at it. A couple of them set up email subscriptions to a few of the views, and they get 15 emails in their inbox, and they can just open the PDFs and look at them one at a time if they want to. But to show them what Tableau could do to replace the manual work that was going into these spreadsheets was very eye-opening for them.
Yeah, I think it sounds like finding that right use case and that right example. So thank you so much for answering that question. We only have a few minutes left, so I'm going to actually go on to the rest of our slide deck here. But thank you so much, panelists, for taking the time and giving us your wisdom. If you have anything else that you kind of want to share with the group, please use the chat feature. If there's anything that you kind of didn't get to say, but you want to say something. But thank you again so much for your time. So for everybody else on the call, let's just talk about Tableau Conference real quick. Obviously, you heard from our amazing panelists and their advice around, how to make the most of your Tableau Conference and really what to look for. If you don't already know, it is free this year and completely virtual. It's going to be next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we're actually planning like what we're calling a pregame event. So if you've ever gone to a Tableau conference in the past, they have like this big breakfast time where everybody can sit at tables and meet and greet other people. We're going to actually have a kind of a virtual pregame event every day. So we will send out, when we send out the follow-up email to today's event, we'll give you all the details on how to participate in that. The other thing that we're doing, Marcell actually pointed out that having a chat window open so that you can kind of like share your excitement with other people, and like it helps you to kind of like, if you hear, oh, dynamic parameters, like you can talk with other people about how that might be useful or impactful or ways to use that new feature. So we're creating a Slack workspace. If you're familiar with either the Madison or Milwaukee groups, we actually have a Madison Slack space and a Milwaukee Slack space. This is a third Slack space that's for Wisconsin entirely. May seem redundant. Eventually, in the future, we're making a plan to merge the two into just Wisconsin. So bear with us, but the Slack space will be cool. There's going to be like a channel specific to the conference so you can talk about all the cool stuff that's going on. So I'm actually going to post a link right now in the chat window where you can sign up for Slack. So it's a web app. You can download it on your laptop or use your phone. There are all sorts of extras for the Tableau conference besides just the breakout sessions. There's Tableau Doctor and brain dates and a photo booth. There's still going to be an Iron Viz. So lots of stuff. Training and certification, if that's interesting to you, is all discounted as well. So again, we'll be sharing all of this information. So with the remaining time we have, the seconds we have left, we are going to choose 3 winners from those who have asked questions to win a gift certificate to Tableau's store. So Patrick, can you choose those winners, please?
Yes, ma'am. Thanks to Excel's random number generator, the winners are Leslie Lay, Patty Rosek Johnson, and Ginger Castle. Keep your eye out for your inbox, and we'll get a swag gift certificate out shortly.
Awesome. Thanks. And I'm assuming that you wrote those names down because I did not.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. Awesome. Well, really, really fantastic questions today, everybody. Thank you so much to our presenter, Amir, and to all of our panelists, Tammy, Nicole, and Marcell. Thank you so much for your time today. Super valuable information. And thank you to all of our participants for attending today's session. Feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn, Twitter, via email, all of the channels. Connect with us.
Hope to see everyone in the pregame events next week.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.